Where's the effort? Where's the fight? Where's the pride?
It wasn't too long ago that you guys were looking for a new identity. That stuff doesn't come easy.
Yeah? Well, you want to know what does come easy?
Oh, yeah, she told me about that. Are you looking into, like, treatments for it, or...?
What? No. And whatever you heard is not true.
Okay.
Anyway, the wins are coming easy. We're making the playoffs.
Are you gonna beat anyone in the playoffs?
Nope.
Good luck, brother.
Good luck in the draft.
Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins draft pick. That is not a dub. Yeah, sure. It's not a dub. It's not a dub. And sure, we've lost 10 straight. And sure, we showed very little heart or effort against our longest standing rival. And sure, it looks like they've passed us in the hierarchy of the league, and that's a little bitter. And sure, half this team looks like it shouldn't even be on NHL ice. But, shit, I did this whole thing like I had a thing there. It's fine. It's bad. But, we figured it out. We came back. 4th! I think we were already 4th. 4th to last in the league, which we'll talk more about later in the video. But if you wanted a tank, again, you might not like Sweeney. But when he decided that this team wasn't going to be gunning for a playoff spot and wanted to hit the absolute bottom of the ditch, boy, did he do an effective job. It's downright impressive. I tell you what. Thank you again, everyone, for all the kind words in the previous videos. Also, Discord, check it out. Things are popping off. People are great in there. High quality inspectors, of course. Thank you so very much. And then like, comment, subscribe. Nailed it. Let's talk about this Habs team a little bit, shall we? The Habaroonies. 3rd meeting of the year. We won the last 2 meetings. Crazy, right? Putting up 6 goals in each of those. Even crazier. Both those games were pre-deadline. In fact, both those games were pre-2025. Yeah, I think December 1st and then like the first or second game of the season. I think October at some point. Things are good in Montreal right now. Really good for them. And I do want to have this little asterisk. I hate the Habs and screw the Habs, and I want them to fail forever. Don't get me wrong. I am genuinely happy if they do make it into the playoffs. I would be happier if Columbus did. But it is fun watching a Habs series because the Bell Center gets nuts for playoff series. And it's fun, just from an outside perspective. Of course, we're rooting for them to lose. Anyway, things are good in Montreal because they hold the second wild card, effectively making them the king of the half-washed away sandcastle, because no team currently battling going into tonight, as it were, no team currently battling for that second wild card spot had an above 500 record over the last 10 games. It is a wet noodle fight. That's the kindest way to put it. But playoffs would obviously be great for that fan base and for that new core for them. New core. They've been working this direction a little while now. Even if they're just going to get smoked in the first round. Because what it represents is the end of a rebuild. They've been in the bottom of the division, literally finishing 8th of the division the last 3 years. That's not actually that long, though. I mean, it is. It sucks, don't get me wrong. But this is one of the more successful rebuilds in recent memory. They didn't have to go through 8 years of just being awful. Now, of course, the COVID year adds a little bit of asterisk to some of that as well. But they had other playoff appearances over the last 7 or so years. So they basically bottomed out for a couple of years and now look like they're on their way back to being contender types. And don't get me wrong, the job just isn't done yet. They still have plenty of roster tweaking to do to get to cup contender. But Suzuki, Caulfield, Sikorsky all look like high-impact players on a good NHL team, or at least that's what they're going to become. And then, of course, you have Montembeault, who, although hasn't had a great season, Still looks like he has the talent and looks to be projecting towards their number one guy for a while. And looks like he should have better numbers behind a defense that has a bit more structure. And then, of course, there's the Lane Hudson of it all, who looks like he's going to be way better than we expected. And we expected him to be wicked good. He, as a rookie, 21 years old, I think, he's on his way towards 60 assists. That's crazy for a rookie defenseman. That's nuts. I mean, it's really crazy for any rookie, but the guys, and I saw these debates happening on Twitter of like whether he was actually good or not. I don't care how it's happening. If we had a defenseman that was 21 years old and had 60 assists, 57 assists on the season, I would be hyping this guy up, just glazing the hell out of him. Like, I wouldn't stop. So I'm not really here to pick apart Lane Hudson's game. I do think he looks damn good. He didn't have a great game tonight in general, just by what I perceived. But he looks like he's going to be really, really great. So I don't think there's a lot of argument against that. Montreal needs these points. They need these points to keep that second wild card. So they go into this game facing a team that has been worse than everybody else since the deadline. The worst team in the league since the deadline. But rivalry games tend to be different. This wouldn't be. That's just what pisses me off about this game, honestly, because I was rooting for the Bruins to win. Let's say that right now before we get any farther. I know that I've been like, well, the pick's the pick. We got to focus on the pick. I'm not rooting for losses, but I'm not sad about losses. No. Keeping the Habs out of the playoffs would have been hilarious. They missed by 1 point because they had lost to us. That's hilarious. So I was absolutely rooting for the Bruins to win this one, and I'm genuinely disappointed that we didn't. Our lineup tonight: Geeky, Zaka, Pasta, Kepke, Lindholm, Lysell, Huznadinov, Middlestat, Lettieri, Lauko, Beecher, Brown, Zadorov, Yogi-Haru, Wotherspoon, Peak, Lohrei, Mitchell. It does not get easier reading that lineup. It just doesn't. It's just sad and painful, and it hurts. It hurts so very much. Lysell's going to slot back in. They admitted that it was because of the heavy play style of the Capitals that they didn't play him last game. So dumb. So very, very dumb. We're going to talk about Lysell a little bit later in this video as well. If the Bruins win this game, Swayman would get his 100th win. Has it been 3 weeks of saying that? It feels like it's been 3 weeks of saying that about Swayman, that he's going to get his 100th win. Brutal. How many of the last 10 games, all losses obviously, has he played? Is it 7? Feels like the majority by at least 1 or 2, right? Yeah. Hampus, of course, still out. McAvoy, of course, still out. Kostelic, of course, still out. Let's talk about this game. Puck drops. And 128 in, Matheson breaks out for a breakaway after a turnover in the offensive zone. Matheson had a Bruin draped all over his back, so he gets a weak shot off, but Sway gobbles it up. Why did I say gobble like that? Oh. Anyway, 30 seconds later, Elias Lindholm gets a wide open breakaway off a good Kepke pass. He shoots pretty early in the slot. I don't know if he's running out of gas there or if he just knows that he's slow. Either way, blocker side, Montembeault makes the save. A few minutes later, about 4 minutes in, the puck hops over Wotherspoon's stick, launches a 2-on-1 the other way. Peak takes away the pass very well, so Caulfield tries high blocker side, and Sway comes up big. Swayman and Montembeault, through the first couple of minutes of this game, trading huge saves, locked in right away. And I was really hoping that the fast-paced style, because each team has 3 or 4 shots on net through the first few minutes, that would have been really fun. Like, it's going to be bad hockey. We know that there's going to be a lot of, like, dumb stuff happening, but at least have it action-filled, bad hockey, and then maybe kind of a stupid, sexy goalie battle, you know? So I just think that would have been fun. It's not what we got, but I think it would have been fun. 6:22 in, Pasta is tripped up. We're going to the power play. The good news is we didn't give up a scoring chance. Not only did we not give up a goal, didn't give up a scoring chance during the power play. The bad news, that previous point counts as good news this season. That's bad news. The worst news, the Bruins didn't manage a shot on net during the power play. It's so bad, dude. It's just so disappointing. I feel like my father. 1:30 left. Beecher forces a turnover after a scary shift in our zone and sprints down for a breakaway himself. Really great work by Beecher here. Beecher's had a couple of really nice moments over the past couple of games, which is funny because statistically his line is unplayable. And he does look awful through several shifts as well. It's just there's little highlight moments where you're like, ooh, flash of skill, flash of athleticism. Awesome. Montembeault slams the 5-hole shut on the attempt. Brown skates up behind and just sees the puck underneath him and goes and shoves Montembeault into the net. Now, of course, he gets mauled for doing this. The goal never would have counted. Brick and Judd are talking about like, well, we got to see when that whistle went because maybe it's spearing the pad and pushing the goalie in never counts as a goal. We've seen that waved off 1,000 times. Anyway, so obviously not a goal. There are going to be a bunch of penalties coming out of the scrum after this. Lauko is going to go. Anderson's going to go. Both are going to get roughing, and then Brown gets slashing. I didn't even see it. Whatever, man. We're going to the penalty kill for 2 minutes. I'm sure it'll be fine, and we do get to the second period, and they still have about 30 seconds on that penalty kill. Or we have 30 seconds on that penalty kill. Me on the team. We kill it. Great. 10 seconds after they kill it, we lose a face-off in our zone, and it's a puck to the net. It's a basic puck to the net, but it takes a huge bounce up high into the slot and drops down, where I believe it's Geeky and Gallagher who are going for this puck, chopping at it. It bounces up again, lands just behind Geeky, which is farther away from the net, up in the slot. But Dvorak is able to just skate right in before Geeky realizes where it is, settles it, whips it on net, and somehow gets through the forest of bodies past Swayman glove side. And it's 1-0. And you had one of two reactions, right? You're either full tank, I don't care who we're playing, and you're like, nice, good, yes, this is what we need. Or you just wanted to die inside because it's the Habs. And I was number 2, unfortunately. I was number 2. 3 minutes in, save by Swayman put him high in his crease and off his skates. The rebound comes out to the bottom of the right circle. Defense has been way too slow to recover any sort of pucks, but this is actually more on Liesel, I think, because he's the winger playing that side. He doesn't pick up the play quick enough, and unfortunately, Carrier is able to beat him to that puck at the bottom of the right circle. I'm not like blaming him. There's like different levels of blame here, but this is one that you want him to be more aware of where that puck might end up. Stuff he has to learn. So Carrier gets this wide open net, and somehow Swayman makes the diving glove save and snags it. And I wanted this to be a competitive game. I wanted it to be an interesting game, and it was a huge save. And midway through this period, while I'm begging for an interesting, competitive game, I look at the shot totals and I go, oh yeah, it doesn't feel like the Bruins have had any offensive zone time in a while. We're getting outshot 12-0 midway through the second period. In the second period, I should say. We had a few shots on net in the first, but through the second period, 10 minutes in, we're getting outshot 12-0. It's fascinating how bad this team is. It really is. 6:21 left, and 2 huge things happen for the Bruins. First, the Bruins get a shot on net. That's right. Habs are up to 14 on the period. But we do get a shot on net, and I'm very proud of them. Second, Kepke and Goul. I don't know why I hear the name, but I see the name and I want to say Goulet. Whatever. They shed him. And Kepke gets this win clearly to me. So a little bit of heart, a little bit of fight. There were some scrums, but not as nasty as you usually expect this game to get. The Bruins aren't in it anymore, man. I think they truly have been like, we just got to get through these games. And I mean, I don't blame them after what the last 3 weeks have been, but it's the Habs. Show some fight. 5:36 left. A turnover in the ozone by Geeky leads to what looks like should have been a Suzuki breakaway. But oddly enough, he's got so much time and space in front of him, but he just hits the brakes and slowly glides down the ice on that right side, waiting and waiting and waiting for Caulfield to get into the play. And he gets backdoor. It's a perfect pass. And Caulfield just has a wide open net to bury it, and it's 2-0. There was a defenseman involved. It was perfect toe drag by Suzuki as the defenseman slid by him. And then I mean, I was surprised he didn't just sprint at the net looking for that scoring chance, but is what it is. They still score anyway. It's 2-0. The Bruins were outshot 17-2 in that period by the Montreal Canadiens, which, by the way, they might be in a playoff position, but that's not like a great team. I think they're an okay to good team. We were expecting a step forward. Whew. To lose a period to them 17-2 in shots, it just speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. 3 minutes into the third period, the Bruins want to make sure we aren't winning this one. Middlestat below the goal line with the puck, holds too long, finally tries to wrap it up the boards, deflects off of Evans into the slot. It's a great bounce for them. And it lands right in front of Swayman on Gallagher's stick, who just gets to bury this glove side. It's 3-0, 3 minutes in. And, I mean, the Bruins, you could see the body language. They were like, we're done. This is so stupid. What are we doing here? You're supposed to be playing hockey, is what you're doing here. What you're supposed to be doing here. This team doesn't hate to lose. New Shoresy season's so good, by the way. So good. Different, but so good. 5:25 in. Peak is tripped by Savard. We're going to the power play. Why do I even bring it up? 6:41 left. The body language of this team. Geeky burns past Matheson, slides the puck across the top of the crease for a backdoor chance for Pasta. Montembeault somehow gets a pad there, but the rebound is sitting there for Elias, who gets to smack it in. Now, I want to be very clear. Maybe they all were wondering if this was going to count because Pasta's lying on top of Montembeault as this puck enters the net. But after review and everything, it's very clearly a fair goal. So maybe they didn't celebrate because they were wondering that. Is the goal going to count? But it's just a piece of me that goes like, none of you guys even like raised a stick. There's no excitement. People strolled over, gave little fist bumps and everything, and kept moving. And the body language just sucks. No one is enjoying anything about playing for the Boston Bruins right now. And again, it shows in the results, it shows in the fans, it shows in the social media, and it shows in their body language. It's awful. It's really disappointing because at the end of the day, I'd love to just see some fight to end the season, you know? Some real, hey, we're trying to build. Pasta can say it over and over again, but no one's doing it. No one's doing it. And I think Pasta's still giving a shit out there, but they've been downtrodden. They've been beaten down, and it's like they've just been crushed. 2:57 left. Swayman's going to go to the bench. 1:57 left. Suzuki's going to get the empty netter. It's 4-1. There's two game notes. The first one being, it's just so hard to evaluate anyone right now. The whole squad has so clearly lost any sort of spirit or confidence or anything. And hopefully this will all be shaken off by next year's camp. But obviously, a lot of change coming this summer. And you don't want this infection where like you start next year and you're, say, 1-3 to start the season. Just a tough start to the year, which also just happens, by the way. Just happens. To good teams as well. And it just totally derails everything. Like that same feeling of like we suck comes back and the effort isn't there. And just I hate to see this team this downtrodden because it raises bigger concerns, you know? The other game note, very important. We are 4th to last in the league. 4th best odds at the number 1 overall pick, which would likely be a left defenseman, by the way. I don't want anyone to be shocked that if we get the number 1 overall pick, if we get some bounces here, it is not unlikely that they take this left D who looks like he could be a franchise guy, right? I'm not going to go into the details of who all these players are yet. We are going to do a draft video. It's going to be closer to the draft. It'll be during the playoffs. Like I'm just not there yet. But here's the good news. There are 3 high-end centers in this draft that are expected to go in the top 6 or so. One of them was what the year started out with, Hagens, of like, hey, this is the guy. This is going to be your number 1 overall pick. He's fallen back a little bit, undersized, things like that. And just hasn't had the year that he wanted. Not a bad year, just not the year he wanted. Misa is just lighting the world on fire with his scoring, although he's really struggled in the playoffs. There's basically what I'm trying to say. There are options. And if the worst possible pick for the Bruins is 6th, which would be if 2 teams behind them moved up in the lottery, like that's as far back as they can go, then yeah, you're missing out on all those guys. The which technically there's higher odds of that happening than the Bruins jumping all the way up to the first overall. But if you are choosing a top 3 or 4, you very likely are coming away with what you think will be your future 1C. I don't know if any of them can leap right to the league. I think they're at least going to need a year or most of a year in development wherever they would be developing depending on the player. So the instant fix for a 1C is sort of almost there. Like, you still have to work through their young years where they're like struggling with certain things, and there's just the development stuff is really concerning. But there are no sure things in this draft, which is really like the big message here. It's kind of a bad year for the Bruins to be this high all of a sudden, but also like you don't really get to pick and choose that. It's just a really weird top of the draft because there's real franchise talent there. Someone in the top 5 is walking away with a player that's not going to work out. And I'm just terrified that the Bruins are going to do that. I'm thinking positive thoughts, though. I'm thinking 1C of the future. I feel confident about it, especially if we keep having efforts like this. Because God knows if we keep losing at the rate we are, like if we like losing out for the season, how far? We have a few points up on the next lowest. Nashville. Yeah, Nashville. We're 7 points ahead of Nashville, and they've lost 4 in a row. So I don't think we're getting much lower than 4th to last. But still, we'll see. Just crazy. Oh, my God. Go Bees. Go Bees! And of course, here at the end of the video, I love to give some shout outs to the fantastic high quality inspectors who help support the channel and keep this running. I super appreciate every single one of you, from the role player tier, the top line tier, and of course the all-star tier. We are going to do our shout outs for this top line tier. Thank you so much to Sean Kreider, Michael Kammerer, Chris and Erica, Kevin Timperley, Quackin' Platypus, JM, Smoke Channels, Shaggy, Adam Ella, Albert Waldron, Negev79, Lola Cattingsworth, EKM Productions, Moonlighter TV, Big Bad Bruin, The Bugman, Jeff with a G, Tommy Braga, Roland22, GD Viperworks, Len Kreutz, Brock Nope, Han Slobo, Coach D, The Atomic Lizard, Bradley Johnson, Brett Arney, Pincent, and Nick Zatrullo. Thank you so much, each and every one of you. Your top line material. But now we got to move on to our all-star tier members, the absolute legends. We have Jacob Pratt, Jake Brower, Dampen, JG's 12, Mark S., Ann Hustis, Tim R., Lorenzo Wood, Penny Pasta, Levi Catalani, Boston Stringler, Bagel, Nightmare Eco, John Kirk, Joel, Stealthy Potato, Heil E. Coyote, Darren Woodbury, Abraxion, Wolf Warrior, Vinny, Adrian Winter, Tupton D. Tashi, Bruin Smash, D.A. Kingery, The Only Newts, A Tasty Snack, Dutes42, and Jeremy. Thank you all for all of the support and love that you are all giving. I appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, go Bees!